Show, the Mr. Rodriguez Show, the Mr. Rodriguez Show. The Mr. Rodriguez Show, the Mr. Rodriguez Show, the Mr. Rodriguez Show. The Mr. Rodriguez Show, the Mr. Rodriguez Show, the Mr. Rodriguez Show. The Mr. Rodriguez Show, the Mr. Rodriguez Show, the Mr. Rodriguez Show. Now it's time to let me know you're ready. Let me know that you're ready.
Hey everybody, it's Mr. Rodriguez here. Welcome back to the Mr. Rodriguez Show. I'm excited about this because we are going to use a couple different mediums. And when I say mediums, I mean style of art. Now this is a little unconventional way, but it's also one of my favorite ways to utilize these materials that we're going to use. So for this project, what you're going to need is you're going to need some oil pastels. It's oil pastels or colorful chalk. It's essential that you have one of those two. You're going to need some paper, 2 sheets of paper. Make sure that they're the same size paper too. And you're going to need some paper towel. Paper towel works the best for this. So make sure you have your materials handy right there. We are going to actually kind of talk a little bit about what this project's about. Now, as per usual, with every assignment for 2nd grade, we are going to dive back into our traveling around the world. And we're going to go to actually one of my favorite places that, artistically speaking for me, I think that this place has some of the coolest art that I've ever seen. And we're going to China today. So now that we are in China, what we're gonna do is, so in China, the thing about China is one of the oldest civilizations in the world. It's been around for a really, really, really long time. By the time us Westerners, as they say, discovered China, it was already a pretty advanced civilization. It had, things like villages and a political system, castles, and advancements like that. But the thing, since it's been around for so long, some of my favorite things about China or Chinese art is they had really cool ink and watercolor paintings and drawings. They had really cool ink and watercolor art. And what they were really good at was making something. Imagine this. Imagine you get up early in the morning and you're staying at a cabin at a lake. And you get up early in the morning and you walk outside and you go look at the lake and there's a fog on top of it, okay? On top of the water. So you can't quite see the other side. There's always a peaceful kind of calm when I see fog, especially within a landscape. And that's what the Chinese did here. The Chinese art captured that calmness, in my opinion. So let's take a look at some of the artwork right now. So you could see in those pieces of art that we looked at that they really showed that. But one thing that they showed was called atmospheric perspective. And atmospheric perspective means what's closer, that right there, is more visible. And then as you go back, what's behind it is less visible. And then as you get further away, it's less visible and less visible. And so fog is a perfect thing to show with that, because as things go further back and they get lost in the fog, we can't see that so well. So we're going to take a look at an actual Chinese mountainscape right now. And I want you to see if you can see that in the mountains. So right here in this mountainscape, we see mountains. And now, mountains in China look a little different than the Rocky Mountains or the Appalachian Mountains here. So what I want you to do is pay attention to the ones that are up front. The ones up front are detailed. We can see cracks, we can see, you know, the shrubbery that's on it. But as we get further back, we start to see less detail. And as we go back and back and back and back and back, we see even less. So, what we are going to do today is we are going to make a stencil of a mountainscape. And we are going to create some artwork that shows this atmospheric perspective in the style of a Chinese mountainscape. We're going to use oil pastel, or like I said, if you have colorful chalk, that works too. We're going to use construction paper, so you need to have a dark construction paper. Blue, purple, black, those work the best. You're also going to want to have some paper towel. Paper towel, like I said, works the best. You're going to really work this paper towel, so you might want to have a couple pieces handy. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a stencil that we put the pastel on and transfer it onto the paper. And this style is actually under the umbrella of printmaking, which is one of my favorite things to do in art. One of my favorite. So, let's go over to the art table. We are going to get started with all our supplies. All right, so I'm here at the art table right here, and I have my supplies to get ready to start on my Chinese mountainscapes. I have 2 pieces of construction paper. Now, you don't need to have them be this size. They can be smaller, but just make sure that 2 pieces of paper are the same size. I have my paper towel right here, and I have my oil pastels. Now, I said you can use oil pastels or chalk. It's got to be one of the two. It only works with this one or chalk. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a stencil with my white paper. And I'm going to use my white paper here because I said the one that we're going to put the pastel on needs to be dark. So make sure you have at least one of your papers dark because it shows up better if it's dark. I'm going to turn this into a mountainscape, and how I'm going to do that to get an organic, kind of rigid feel, I'm going to use this and I'm going to tear it. And I'm going to tear it starting in the middle. Now, I'm going to advise you go slow. Don't go rip it really fast because then you're going to lose control. So, you're going to take the middle right here, and I'm going to do a little tear. Just like that. Just like that bad boy right there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in this fashion, ripping in kind of a zigzag pattern, okay? I'm going to do it this way. Oh, okay. Go back, go this way. Go this way. Go this way. Look at that. And I'm doing little tears at a time. It gives me more control. Boom. And now I have 2 pieces of paper that are ripped from one. I have one mountainscape stencil right here, and another one right here. I got 2 stencils. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of put my darker paper aside, and I'm gonna color on my stencils. But I don't want to color on my stencil while it's on top of this paper because then it'll get messy on this paper. So I'm gonna keep that away. I'm going to choose kind of a brighter color. Maybe I'll go with pink. A good pink right here, okay? And I'm going to color just the tips right here. Just the tips. Right along the edge right here. So I'm going to take this and just right along the edge, I'm going to color nice and thick. I'm going to take my pastel and make sure that it's super thick. Because the more pastel we have on our edges, the more is going to transfer on the other paper. Now, I don't have to get it perfect. I just want to make sure that there's a good amount of pastel. So it's nice and thick like that. Now I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm going to fold it up here real quick. Fold it up into kind of, there's like a little cushion on it, okay? but not super small. This will be good right here. So now I'm gonna take my blue paper right here, and I'm gonna take my stencil, and I'm gonna put it, make sure it's evenly on the sides right here, okay? But then I'm gonna make sure that my tallest mountain touches the top of my paper. See right here, touches the top right there. Take my paper towel, and I'm gonna rub this oil pastel onto this paper right here. And I'm gonna do it in an upward motion. I'm not ever gonna rub back this way. I'm gonna push the oil pastel this way, pick it up, come back, go like this. This hand right here, my spare hand, is gonna hold down both. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take my paper. I'm gonna start on one side and I'm gonna work my way over here, okay? So, down and up. I'm just gonna keep going, using my muscles. Give it a little elbow grease right here. Holding down that stencil. Just like that, just like that. Okay, now once it's done, take my stencil off here, okay? You guys ready? Nice. You can see right here that it kind of made like a glow, like the top of the mountains are glowing, almost kind of like the Northern Lights a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep doing this, working my way down with the stencils. So let's go do another stencil here. So I have my other stencil right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna color it that it's off the thing. Remember, we don't ever wanna color this on top of there. But I'm gonna throw some other colors on there. Okay, so I'm gonna use a light green right here. And light green is gonna go on the left side of my mountains. Remember, nice and thick. The more oil pastel you have on your edges, the more is gonna transfer over. And then maybe I'll take a little purple, switch over to some black, go back to some blue, little blue. Maybe, ooh, red. Orange. All right, I'm gonna do the same step, except I'm not gonna put it towards the top of the paper. I'm gonna put it so it's right about here. So instead of going all the way to the top, I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit. Just like that. Take this, and I'm gonna do the same step that I just did, hand down, holding both down. Rub it in an upward motion, starting on one side. And I'm gonna make sure when I rub it, it goes all the way to the top of my paper. So rub to the top. Pushing, pushing. Just like that. All right, let's check it out here. Oh, sweet. As we slowly get through it, you can see now those pink mountains that I did are starting to slowly disappear into the background. Now you can see them, they're slowly disappearing. Kind of like atmospheric perspective. And I'm gonna add some more colors onto this one. Actually throw some white on here. White does some pretty cool things as well. Take this and I'm going to line it up so it just goes a little further down. And I'm going to just keep repeating these steps here. You can see right here, the second set of mountains that I did are starting to disappear behind this new one. Again, atmospheric perspective. I'm gonna pop this bad boy into fast motion. I'm gonna do 5 lines of mountains. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I got my Chinese mountainscape right here. Now, the cool thing about this is this kind of can be done 2 ways. You can have it like this, or you can flip it around and you can have it like this. That's my favorite thing about this project. So make sure to write your name on this. Remember, I want 5 layers of stencils here. I did 5 lines of mountain. Make sure to write your name on this. Make sure to turn it in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in.